It's budget day. Will the Liberals survive? We won't know for several weeks because they don't vote on the budget today. We just received the budget. Within the next couple of weeks, each party will review the budget and determine if they're going to support it or not. I will be taking a deep dive into the budget. My background is in real estate and finance. I went to BCIT in the real estate and business program, and I completed my real estate licensing exam as well as my mortgage licensing exam. So I'm extremely interested in reviewing the figures for all of you. The budget doesn't come out today until 4 p.m. Eastern time. I will be updating everybody this evening on my Twitter X account. So make sure that you're a subscriber to my Twitter account so you don't miss any of my updates. This evening, I'm going to be reviewing the numbers and taking a deep dive into the figures. I'll create a detailed report on the budget tomorrow. Make sure you tune in to the channel for my budget report. In today's report, I'm going to be reviewing what's not in the budget, and I'm already shocked. Plus, I have more news that's going to blow you away. On this channel, I provide data, facts, and truth. I have no agenda except for waking up the masses and demanding change in this country. If you're not already a subscriber already, consider subscribing to my channel so you don't miss any of my valuable reports. Let's get into this report.
$2 billion trees. You've probably heard us share that number before. It's part of our plan for a clean, green future. That's because trees capture carbon pollution. But in order for trees to contribute to our fight against climate change, we need a lot of them, a lot more of them. So here's how we're doing it. First, we're collecting and planting seeds in nurseries across the country. There, they grow for anywhere from 1 to 10 years before they're mature enough to be planted. And when they're ready to go into the ground, we plant them. Since we announced this plan in 2019, we've been working with partners to boost their capacity and help us plant more. The process to get from seeds to trees is complex and takes several years to ramp up, and it's why we designed this program to plant more trees every year that passes. While it's complicated, the end result is simple. We'll have more trees dotting our forests, our parks, and the edges of our farmland, each one quietly doing its part to protect our environment and keep our air clean. This is only one part of our comprehensive plan to fight climate change and achieve net zero emissions by 2050. And by working together with Canadians, we're going to get there.
And we got some breaking news. The Liberals are scrapping the 2 billion tree target as part of their budget this year. Out of all the Liberals' climate plans, planting 2 billion trees was the only one that actually made sense. Now they're scrapping it while keeping the industrial carbon tax, keeping the emissions cap, keeping the tanker ban, keeping the no new pipeline. This government only focuses on enriching their own pockets because we all know they've purchased all the stocks for the green grift, and these trees are not going to make them rich. And by the way, instead of reaching their 2 billion tree target, they're scrapping it in order to fund pride parades and the security for the pride parades and DEI everything. $660 million is going towards DEI and pride in this new budget, removing 1 billion trees. If we scrapped the 9 bad laws, as Danielle Smith calls it, we would immediately start saving the planet, selling the world our clean energy, our natural gas, displacing dirty coal around the planet. But nope, instead we're canceling the 2 billion trees, which is the one policy I actually supported. Fresh air, more trees. Here's Justin Trudeau posting on how we save the planet. It's with these 2 billion trees.
This is not a drill. My name is Greta Thunberg. We are living in the beginning of a mass extinction. Our climate is breaking down. Children like me are giving up their education to protest. But we can still fix this. You can still fix this. To survive, we need to stop burning fossil fuels. But this alone will not be enough. Lots of solutions are talked about. But what about a solution that is right in front of us? I'll let my friend George explain.
There is a magic machine that sucks carbon out of the air, costs very little, and builds itself. It's called a tree. A tree is an example of a natural climate solution. Mangroves, peat bogs, jungles, marshes, seabeds, kelp forests, swamps, coral reefs, they take carbon out of the air and lock it away. Nature is a tool we can use to repair our broken climate. These natural climate solutions could make a massive difference.
Pretty cool, right?
But only if we also leave fossil fuels in the ground.
Here's the crazy part. Right now, we are ignoring them. We spend 1,000 times more on global fossil fuel subsidies than on natural-based solutions.
Natural climate solutions get just 2% of all the money used on tackling climate breakdown.
This is your money. It is your taxes and your savings.
Even more crazy, right now when we need nature the most, we're destroying it faster than ever.
Up to 200 species are going extinct every single day.
Much of the Arctic ice is gone. Most of our wild animals have gone. Much of our soil has gone.
So what should we do?
What should you do?
It's simple. We need to protect, restore, and fund. Protect. Tropical forests are being cut down at the rate of 30 football pitches a minute.
Where nature is doing something vital, we must protect it.
Restore. Much of our planet has been damaged.
But nature can regenerate, and we can help ecosystems bounce back.
Fund.
We need to stop funding things that destroy nature and pay for things that help it.
It is that simple. Protect, restore, fund.
This can happen everywhere. Many people have already begun using natural climate solutions. We need to do it on a massive scale.
You can be part of this.
Vote for people who defend nature.
Share this video. Talk about this.
All around the world, there are amazing movements fighting for nature. Join them.
Everything counts. What you do counts.
Well, kiss that dream down the window. The Liberals have abandoned their trees. It did say vote. Vote for people that want to protect nature. It doesn't look like the Liberals care about nature. I wonder if the Liberal and NDP supporters will still support the Liberals now that they're abandoning the trees. Let's move to the House of Commons regarding their $2 billion tree abandonment.
Morning, Minister. Can you tell us about your trip to COP and what you'll be up to at COP next week?
I'm going to be talking to other environment ministers from around the world about how we continue to fight climate change, and I'm looking forward to it.
The other question I have for you is the cutting of the tree program, $2 billion down to $1 billion. Does a billion trees make a difference? Is it going to save money to put into other programs?
I think we're going to have to look at the budget, but I think there's going to be a lot of good stuff in this budget.
Your government has leaked it to the CBC. You publish it, so you know.
Oh, wow. You see that? Don't want to talk about the trees, do you? We're going to move on from the trees, but what do you think, Canada? Is the Liberals going away from their billion additional trees? Proof that they don't give a damn about climate change. Get ready, Canada. The food professor in Canada has come out and said there is undisputable evidence that the industrial carbon tax is increasing the price of food at the grocery stores.
Questioning. You published a research paper last year on the carbon tax and its impact on the supply chain. they still have an industrial carbon tax in place. Have you done any work in terms of what the impact of the industrial carbon tax is on the supply chain and the food costs in Canada?
Well, our study, if you recall, was focused mainly on the industrial carbon tax, the part that most consumers don't see. That's been our concerns from day one, looking at the wholesale prices. And since the publication of both of our studies, because we published two studies, two papers, the gap between wholesale prices in Canada versus the U.S., food wholesale prices have actually increased. So, and we believe that one factor driving this is the carbon tax. And so we're very concerned, and of course we're looking at food prices into 2026 right now with Canada's food price report. And again, we don't, at this point, we feel that we actually may provide Canadians with some bad news for 2026, but we are expecting food inflation to continue to be a problem moving forward.
So are you going to give us the answer before the reports come out on December 4th?
Not yet. December 4th.
Okay, we have to wait? Okay, fair.
I will report on December 4th. This is going to be an excellent report to look at.
It's interesting that you raise this because, timing is everything, but it came up a number of times, a question period today about the industrial carbon tax and the front of pack labeling and the plastics food ban, the impact that has on food prices. The Liberal ministers in their response said, here the Conservatives again are talking about imaginary taxes on food. But you yourself.
Let's see what Steve McKinnon had to say just yesterday.
Mr. Speaker, obviously we've listened attentively to what the opposition have to say, and I think I just heard good news. The leader of the opposition saying that he's going to order his troops and himself, and they'll walk in here and support this great, affordable, liberal budget that's coming down tomorrow, a budget that brings down taxes for Canadians, a budget that brings down taxes and GST for first-time home buyers, a budget that makes life more affordable and creates opportunities for young people all over this country, a generational budget, and a budget that I know will be glad to have the support of the Leader of the Opposition.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, they've been making those promises for the last 9 Liberal budgets, which doubled housing costs and drove 2.2 million people to the food bank because of higher grocery prices. So if he wants to take ideas for an affordable budget, an affordable life, here's one. There's the Liberal industrial carbon tax, which applies to the steel, cement, and other inputs to build homes. And it applies to the farmers and their fertilizer and equipment. So will the Prime Minister, instead of provoking an unnecessary election, get rid of the industrial carbon tax so we can bring down food and housing costs?
The Honourable Government House Leader.
Well, Mr. Speaker, it was going so well up till now. We still have hope, though, that this Leader of the Opposition won't want to send Canadians, including our great farmers, to the polls over the Christmas season. The Leader continues to bring up these imaginary taxes. We'd be happy to explain to him once again that farmers in this country are mostly exempt from any of those industrial carbon taxes, Mr. Speaker. The budget will be affordable. The budget will be great. The budget will build this country and build opportunities for farmers, for young people, and all Canadians.
The Honourable Leader of the Opposition.
Mr. Speaker, he's got to get his story straight. First, he started his answer by saying there is no industrial carbon tax, and then he finished it by saying the industrial carbon tax is great and doesn't cost anybody any money. He's got to decide which it is. Here's how it works for a Prime Minister who doesn't understand that Canadians need steel. The industrial carbon tax on steel, cement, plastic, and other inputs raises the cost of building homes. The tax on farm equipment and fertilizer raises the cost of food. So if they want an affordable budget for an affordable life, why not scrap this industrial carbon tax on food and homes?
Let's go back to the food professor.
You have said in your research that the industrial carbon tax does have an impact on food prices. Would you say the same about the front of pack labeling and the P2 plastics ban, which the Deloitte study, it said, but the combined would be about $14 billion in additional costs. Would you agree with that assessment from Deloitte, and the industrial carbon tax would have an impact on what consumers are facing at the grocery store shelf?
I would, yes. I do appreciate why the government is doing what it's doing, because it wants to better products. It wants to be seen as a good environmental steward. But at the same time, with more policy comes more red tape and more costs. And this is the trap that we've fallen into several times over the last few decades, and here we are now. If you look at, say, the G7 right now, we're the only country within the G7 which has seen 4 consecutive months of a food inflation rate increase. So we're not going in the right direction right now.
This is an expert in food coming out and saying, yes, in fact, they are increasing the prices on food with their policies. All we have to do is look at the rest of the G7. We are the worst in terms of food inflation. The Conservatives came out with a budget ad. They absolutely nailed it.
Whatever happened to predictability? The milkman, the paperboy, evening TV. Everywhere you look, there's a heart, a hand to hold on to.
Why is the only Liberal plan to spend?
Mr. Speaker, the Liberal plan is to invest.
It is time to invest in the future of our country. It has never been more appropriate to invest in the future of our country.
That's why our economic plan, it is really at its heart about investing in Canadians.
That's what we're proposing to Canadian, generational investment in our future, Madam Speaker.
We're not spending that amount of money, we're investing that amount of money.
What do you think about the Conservatives' new ad? The fallout of the Doug Ford ad and Mark Carney and the Liberal support.
What do you make of this? Ford is not going into the bear trap for a change. And David Eby said, forget it, we're not going to run our ads now after conversations with the feds.
I think it's critical that Canada has one voice around the negotiation table right now as best possible. And there's a difference between kind of, lobbying for support of the various sectors in your province and running an antagonistic advertisement that is designed to get under the skin of the president. And lo and behold, he reacted the way that anybody, you don't need a psychoanalysis or a psychology degree to know how the president was likely to respond to that ad. So this has been a pretty expensive waste of time for the province, but also for the federal government, who's now left to kind of pick up the pieces of something that I think was understood to be a problem for a long time. This ad didn't come from nowhere. The rhetoric that has been coming from Ontario has been a challenge for the U.S. and the administration for quite some time, and I suspect that the federal government knew that very well. And I think that they quite enjoyed for a long time the good cop, bad cop dance that they had with the Premier and the Prime Minister, and now it has backfired spectacularly. So what we have is a budget that's going to be very expensive, a skyrocketing deficit because we haven't been able to resolve the tariff dispute that the Prime Minister committed to resolve. And I just have to say, for Canadians to be told back in March and April that we were going to have a new partnership and that, it was elbows up and the Prime Minister was going to stand up to Donald Trump, and now he's apologizing for the advertisement, might be the right thing to do. But that is we're very far from the spring when the Prime Minister had a very different message. And I do wonder how that is going to play with his base of supporters that was adamant that we cannot cave to Donald Trump when it seems that is all that we have been doing since the Prime Minister got elected.
Well, Trump has been president less.
Very true. What is happening with the base? Here's a Liberal gas pump representing this generational budget. It's where they rob you blind and you get absolutely no gasoline out of payments. This is exactly like the Liberal budget. You're gonna have to pay for it for generations. Your kids are gonna have to pay for it, and we're gonna get nothing in return. Premier David Eby has come to his senses and said he will no longer do his own attack ad against the United States.
Can I just follow that up? Can I ask Mr. LeBlanc to speak on the ads issue? Did you ask the Premier on behalf of the Prime Minister not to run the anti-American softwood lumber ads?
Minister LeBlanc didn't have to ask. I knew that it was a source of anxiety for many people, including potentially the federal government, given the reaction to the Ontario tariffs. One of my commitments to the federal government was that if they came to the table with us, if they sat with us, that we would work with them on communications, on strategy, on how to support the sector and how to move forward. And that was the commitment that we made, to work together in good faith as partners on this. And I was, to say pleasantly surprised is probably a bit of an understatement, but I was pleasantly surprised at the group that you see behind me, the group of ministers that showed up, the Business Development Bank of Canada, the commitment from the Prime Minister to work with us. This was very heartening to me. Felt like we were going it alone there for a while. And to know that we've got this federal team in our corner is hugely helpful to me, and resulted in our commitment to work forward in terms of any communications with Americans, with the federal government. I'll turn it over to Minister LeBlanc.
Premier, thank you. I don't think I can add anything to Premier. I think just answered the question in a very fulsome way. I think, Premier, if perhaps we could share with people that you and I spoke on Friday evening and again Saturday evening, and it was a focus on different innings of the ball game. There were occasional profanities in text messages as different innings came up. That was the nature of our conversation on the weekend, so now the secret's out.
All I have to say is thankfully David Eby is not going to be proceeding with the attack ad, because if he did, our tariff rate would no longer be 10 additional percent. It would be another 20, 25, maybe 50%. Just bring it up to 100%. So this is a sigh of relief. And I have an update from Deep Low that said that he dated Katy Perry and Justin Trudeau. No one believed him. So then on his account, he actually posted he posted this picture as proof. There's Katy Perry in the background, and his post says, "The one that got away." That's it for today's report. I can't wait to review the budget with all of you. What do you think about today's report? The trees, they have completely abandoned the trees, yet they continue to go down this road with industrial carbon tax, the tanker ban, the no new pipeline law. Everything they do is restricting our economy from flourishing. And if they allowed our clean energy to go to the world, we would be the fastest growing economy on the planet. Yet they think in order to have growth, they need to do some generational spending. When was the last time they spent money and we actually saw a return from it? I'll see you on the next report.